3 technical fouls, 5 more, and the face of women's basketball watches a fever game in street clothes, suspended by the same league office that spent all winter rebuilding the whistle. Cathy Engelbert's office wrote that ladder. Her own task force retrained the officials now climbing it. And the whistle that moved Caitlin Clark to Step 3 came Thursday night, in her own building for 3 words. That's a foul. Here's what those 3 words cost. Third quarter against Chicago, Thursday at Gainbridge, Indiana's 19-point lead already gone. Clark drives, gets the shot swatted away, and hears nothing from the official standing right there. So she swings her arm through the air and says it. The Prime broadcast caught it clean. That's a foul. Technical number 3. Under this season's discipline schedule, that's a $500 fine. And that's the cheap part. Numbers 4 through 7 cost $1,000 apiece. Number 8 costs $1,500, plus an automatic 1-game suspension, without pay, no exceptions. The league has pulled that trigger on players before, and it doesn't ask permission. Which leaves the math sitting right there on the table. 5 technicals between Caitlin Clark and the first forced absence of her career, with most of the season still in front of her. The whistle gets its next home date Tuesday night, when Toronto walks into Gainbridge at 7 o'clock Eastern. But before Tuesday, you need to know who built this ladder. So watch what Cathy Engelbert does, not what she says. She said officiating complaints come from sore losers. Then her office spent one winter doing 2 very specific things. Thing 1. Last offseason, Engelbert created an officiating task force, players and coaches at the table, to rebuild how this league calls a game. Front office sports tracked what came out the other side. Through the season's opening stretch, foul calls jumped from 17.5 per team per game to over 22. Free throws climbed from 18 a game to 23. 5 separate times in the first week and a half, a team shot 25 or more free throws in a single game. Last season, that happened 25 times, all year. Cheryl Reeves sat on that task force, and even she flinched at what it produced. We talked about unnecessary physicality. We didn't say we want to call marginal fouls. We never brought that up. And before anyone says Indiana asked for this, they partly did. Stephanie White sat on the same task force and asked the officials to call everything, said the league needed to overcorrect. She asked for consistency. What her team actually got? That's coming in a minute. Thing 2 was quieter. The same winter the whistle got rebuilt, the league raised the price of arguing with it. Per front office sports and Yahoo, technical fines jumped from $200 to $500, 2.5 times the old rate, with a fresh $1,000 tier stacked behind it, and the suspension trigger waiting at number 8. Now, somebody in the comments is already typing it. Player salaries went up this year too, so $500 stings less than $200 used to. True. And it misses the point entirely, because the dollars were never the teeth. The teeth are the 8th whistle. There's no salary big enough to buy back a suspended game, no fine she can pay to be on the floor when the league sits her down. The money is the warning track. The suspension is the wall. Read the 2 off-season moves together, because they only make sense together. More whistles, pricier reactions, a hard ceiling at number 8. The same office retrained the officials to call more, and then repriced what it costs a player to notice. Both moves, one off-season on Cathy Engelbert's watch. Now look at where the new whistle landed hardest. Heading into Thursday, per the Indianapolis Star, Indiana was committing the most fouls in the league, more than 24 a night, and handing opponents the most free throws in the league, nearly 26 a game, with opponents cashing 80% of them, not second most, not top 3, the most on both sides of the ledger in the first season of Engelbert's rebuilt whistle. Then there's Brooklyn, 6 nights ago, the game that turned a statistic into a spectacle. New York shot 40 free throws. Indiana shot 15. Breanna Stewart went 18 of 21 from the line by herself, a career high in makes. On a night her team shot 36% from the field, went 2 of 18 from deep, and won anyway. They couldn't throw it in the ocean. And it didn't matter, because the game was being decided 70 feet from the rim, one whistle at a time. Aaliyah Boston picked up a technical as the third quarter ended. Clark spent crunch time on the bench, carrying 5 fouls, and afterward, a Liberty rookie told reporters they knew Clark was carrying those 5 fouls, so they just kept attacking her. They hunted her, and said so out loud into microphones like it was a scouting report. 4 days later, against Chicago, the 2 teams combined for 52 fouls, and the Sky shot 38 free throws in Indiana's own building. But this didn't start this season. The whistle has been finding Caitlin Clark since the day she arrived. Rookie year, 2024. She misses a three, smacks the backboard out of frustration with herself, and gets teched for it. Not for showing up an opponent, not for arguing a call, for being angry at her own miss. The referee's explanation, in her own retelling, it was disrespectful to the game of basketball. She finished that season one technical away from what was then the suspension line. A rookie, one whistle from a forced seat. Last June it got worse, right there at Gainbridge against Connecticut. Clark took a hand across the face. The crew chief's own pool report described wind-up, impact, contact to the face, got knocked to the floor in the scrum that followed, and walked away with a technical of her own. Think about the order of operations there. The flagrant went to the player who hit her. The technical went to the player who got hit. Her coach that night, on the record. Everybody's getting better except the officials. A month before that, the same coach had called a -31 free throw gap against her team pretty egregious. 2 seasons, same story, told in the same building. The only thing that's changed is that the story now comes with a price list stapled to it, and a trapdoor at rung number 8. So, what does the commissioner say about all of this? We have her on the record too. Last summer, with the officiating noise at full volume, Cathy Engelbert told the Washington Post, quote, "No winning team ever complains about officiating. No losing team ever doesn't complain. Referees are human," she said. "They miss things. We evaluate them." Sit with that for a second. The complaints are sour grapes. That was her public position. Then her own office went and built a task force to overhaul officiating. And you don't rebuild a whistle you just finished defending. The task force was the admission. The fine hike was the insurance. And the first superstar walking the new ladder, 3 rungs up in the middle of June, is the one whose name sells out the buildings her league plays in. Here's the part Engelbert should probably worry about most. Caitlin Clark isn't hiding from the ladder. She's using it. Post-game Thursday, per the Indianapolis Star's Chloe Peterson, Clark called her technical, definitely deserved. But I wanted it, because after that, I got to the free throw line more. She wasn't wrong. 15 for 15 at that line. 32 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. And she and Aaliyah Boston became the first teammates in league history to put up 30-point double-doubles in the same game. The night they teched her for 3 words, she answered with something nobody had done in the league's entire history. When Stephanie White picked up her own technical in the 3rd quarter, Clark loved it. If your coach gets a technical, you should want to go to war after that. White's scouting report on the official, relayed through Clark with a grin. The ref was soft. That is not a player melting down. That's a competitor turning a $500 fine into fuel in real time on the night she made history. But sit with the cold part for a second, because this is where the whole thing turns. The ladder doesn't grade effort. It doesn't watch the highlights. It doesn't count the assists. And it doesn't care that the player it's tracking just carried the most watched franchise in women's sports into overtime. The technical counted anyway. She's at 3. The math kept score right alongside her, and the math never misses a free throw. And the cruelest detail, Clark saw this coming. Before the season, on a podcast with Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, she set herself a number, 2 technicals all year. It's the middle of June. She's already passed it. The NBA solved this exact problem 4 decades ago. Bird and Magic dragged a struggling league into the sunlight, and the people running it understood one thing with total clarity. The product is the stars, on the floor, playing. You can find fire. You can't sell its absence. Indiana knows that better than anyone. This franchise built a banner era on Tamika Catchings playing with the exact same edge. The question is whether the league office remembers. So here's your homework, and it comes in 2 parts. Saturday night, the Fever walk into Connecticut, the franchise from last June's ugliest officiating night, except this time the game's in their gym. Then Tuesday at 7, Toronto comes to Gainbridge. Don't just watch the score. Count the whistles. Count who shoots the free throws, and who gets teched for noticing. Because here's what a suspension actually means in this league right now. It means the arena that sells out on her name plays a night without her. It means the broadcast built around her runs without its lead. It means season ticket holders who circled one date on the calendar get an apology instead of a point guard, and the league office that caused it collects $1,500 for the privilege. Cathy Engelbert built the ladder. Caitlin Clark stands 3 rungs up it with months of season left and a competitive fire that does not dim on command. 5 more whistles, and the league suspends the very player it's selling. Who blinks first, the commissioner or the competitor? Let me know what you think in the comments.